AITA for not removing my necklace when my cousin told me it was disrespectful? Hi. This is my first ever Reddit post, and despite it being such a small matter, I wanted some perspective. And sorry for any spelling mistakes, it's currently midnight where I am. So there is an argument ensuing in my family right now regarding my necklace. I find it to be a pointless argument, but with the way some of my relatives have been acting, I've been curious about if I am the a-hole. For a little bit of context, I am a Hellenist pagan. For those who don't know what that is, in short terms, I worship the Greek pantheon while following pagan practices. This is where the necklace into play. I wear a necklace with an obsidian stone wrapped in wire. The wire is mended around the stone to look like a pentacle. A pagan symbol that represents the 5 elements, but it's often confused for a pentagram. Now, I wear this necklace all day, every day. The times I don't are when I'm sleeping or showering. Now on with the dilemma. The other day my uncle hosted a barbecue and invited my dad along with my brother and me. Everything was going well and I was talking with some of my cousins when a cousin I'm going to refer to as Heather noticed my necklace. Heather made a comment about my necklace, saying it was bold to wear such an unholy symbol knowing most of the family follow the Bible. I shrugged this off. It wasn't the first time someone had made comments like this regarding my religion in the past. I told her it was fine and no one should care. She kept pushing, saying I should take it off since it was disrespectful to those who followed God, since a pentagram was a symbol of the devil. I told her I didn't think so. Since my necklace wasn't a pentagram, I told her to let it go. It wasn't that big of an issue. Heather argued that if it wasn't that big of an issue, I should take the damn necklace off. At this point, other relatives were starting to look over at us, while my other cousins told me to just take the necklace off so Heather would shut up. I again refused, seeing how if they could wear their crosses then I could wear my pentacle. There was a bit more back and forth with some not nice comments regarding my beliefs before Heather finally dropped the subject. The rest of the afternoon was kinda soured and a few relatives were giving me dirty looks. I thought that was the end of it. That was until I got home. I immediately got a text from several of my relatives saying I was an a-hole, saying I could have just removed the stupid necklace. I agreed that I could have, but I didn't want to. My necklace gave me comfort and made me feel more connected to deities and practices. Apparently, this upset some people because my aunt, Heather's mother, just replied with, "What's it matter anyway? It's not like your gods are real, it's just a piece of useless jewelry." This one hurt a lot because I have always been very respectful and open to everyone's beliefs even if they don't align with mine, so seeing someone disregard something so meaningful to me hurt. When I asked my dad about it, he said he didn't understand what Heather's issue was, but I could have taken the necklace off instead of arguing with her. It's been a day or two and this got me thinking. I could have just taken off my necklace to keep the peace instead of digging my heels in the sand until it was high tide. So Reddit, am I the asshole for refusing to take off my necklace even after my cousin asked me to? Edit TOADD. One of the reasons they are so bothered is because I was raised in the church until I was 13 and started refusing to go. They saw it as me turning my back on God, especially since I was an atheist for a few years after, before turning agnostic then finding my current practices. Yes, I know paganism, technically, isn't a religion, but on top of being a pagan, I'm also a Hellenist, but I shortened it to pagan because that's where the symbol I was wearing derived from. While the fact that I'm pagan does annoy them, it's my Hellenism that causes all the animosity, since they believe my gods, especially the few I'm fully devoted to, are just myths who do terrible things. Update. Hello everyone, I posted here a few days ago regarding the family drama around my necklace. Thank you so much for the support, I really appreciate it. I got a few comments requesting an update, so here it is. A day or two ago I finally worked up the courage to actually call my cousin, who I've referred to as Heather for this. Potential trigger warning for mention of rope. Surprisingly, she was very calm during our discussion, so I took the chance and asked her why she got so upset about my necklace. I asked if she was that deep in her own religion that she hated mine. She was clearly annoyed and told me to drop. I told her no, I wanted an answer. Turns out, she didn't care about the necklace, she cared about my represents. When I asked her to clarify what she meant by that, she told me she could care less about the paganism, but what she had a problem with was my Hellenism, more specific, the gods I worship. For context, I am a devotee for several of the Greek god, a few of which being Lord Zeus and Lord Apollo. This is where Heather's problem is. She brought up how at the barbecue when everyone was talking about the storms we were having, I made a joke saying, "Looks like Zeus is finally giving us a break," while I was fidgeting with my necklace. To say I was surprised was an understatement. I was sure that she was just being a loving Christian, and I truly thought it was an issue with changing religions. So I asked why she didn't like my gods. This is when she started getting upset again. She snapped at me, saying it was obvious why she didn't like my gods, and asked how someone who's had bad experiences in the past can support gods who is known for being a cheaters, womanizers, rapist. She told me I was a traitor as a woman and horrible person for worshipping someone like that. My flabbers were gassed. I took a few seconds to calm down and take a deep breath before I explained to her that the gods were portals of how things were during that time of worship. Ancient Greece wasn't very good to women, so that was reflected in the gods. She just got annoyed with me, saying that it didn't make what people believed the Greek gods did right. I just said I understood her view on things, but I asked her not to disrespect my gods even if they have done some bad things in the myths and portraits, especially since her god is no saint either. That clearly upset her and she hung up on me, not before telling my gods were worse while calling me a ropist supporter. That hurt a lot more than anything else she'd said before. While I understand how someone who's only heard the bad about the gods could find it vexing that they have devotees. I will admit after the call with my cousins I went to the altar and left some food offerings as an apology before going to bed, though I didn't sleep much due to what my cousin said. This was a bit of a weird update, and it wasn't what I was expecting, but now I know she doesn't care what I chose to worship but who. Thank you all for the support on my last post. Hope this sheds some light on the situation.